everybody, this video is about a new product from ANKER Solix, and this is their, well, they call it a cool box, but I suppose in the UK you'd call it a fridge freezer or a portable fridge freezer, as it'll go down to -20, so it's more than a cool box. There's a quirky handle on it, that's also a table, and it has wheels on it so you can wheel it about. Comes with a battery, and this one's a 40 litre unit, and it has one battery in here, but you can put two in. And it also works off 12-volt cigarette, and once it's up to power and you're not charging the battery, it uses very little power. As well as being able to use it for barbecues and outdoor camping as a fridge and a cooler, you can also keep many bottles of beer in that, and it has a bottle opener. Had to have a bottle opener, didn't it? I can see myself using this in the garden for barbecues, keeping the beer cold, or when I'm camping outside. I've got all my electric cooking stuff set up on a table, put this underneath the table with all my ingredients in. But I like the idea of this because it doesn't use a lot of power. It's not over big. I think there's 3 different sizes of this. This is the 40 litre one. But this means that fits in that gap there alongside all my other stuff. And I can run this as a freezer, and I can keep a load of frozen products in this. Have it topped up and powered by my battery pack. Keep it down to -19, it goes down to -20. I can control it by an app, and that means when I go off grid, I don't have to be popping to the shops for food. The other good thing about this, it's not a compressor. So it's not a compressor fridge. They call it a cool box, but I'd still call it a fridge freezer. And it's not a compressor. So that means you can move it about and you won't get any alarms going off in relation to it being moved. Obviously if it was a compressor one, you'd move it and it only allowed it to tilt to certain degrees before an alarm went off, because the gases would be moving in the compressor. This is where you can charge it. You can charge it from solar, or you can charge it from a mains supply, or 12 volts. And then in here is a little battery pack. And this little battery pack you can take out. You don't have to have the battery pack in it to actually run the fridge. And it's got USBs on this, so you can actually use this to charge your phone or other devices. You can fit a separate power brick in there, another battery in there. But it comes with this little container, and I've been using that to hold the cables. And that cover goes on there just to keep the dust out. And there's a little cover over here, covers the USBs. Simple controls. Turn temperature up and down, off and on, and you can change it from centigrade to Fahrenheit. Tells you how much battery's in there, and it's also Bluetooth linked to an app to your phone, so you can control it off your phone. And if you're using it outside on a night, it's got a little light in there as well. So I've plugged it into this ANKER power pack. There's not a lot of power in this, but it's doing the job, and it's taking 103 watts, and the freezer is on highest power, and I've set it to -19, and it's at -8 at the moment. The battery's in the freezer, so this is charging up the battery. So it's now running at 30, 35, 33 watts. I've taken the battery out, so this unit here is powering the cooler, and it's set up as freezer down to -10. It's on its highest power still. So it doesn't use a lot of power when it's running 12 volts. Obviously it uses more power when it's charging the battery. It come with two of these, and I had to look in the instructions to see what they were, and they're actually to stop the wheels sliding. They don't have any rubber sticky feet on the bottom, so if it's on a smooth surface they still slide a little bit. Probably could do with having some rubber feet fitted on the bottom of there. Sound wise it's not too bad. I'd say it's probably as loud as a domestic fridge. Has this slider on this piece on here, and it's got slots in here. I take it this must be for putting some either brackets on or cutlery or something in there. It didn't come with anything to fit into there. On the back here you have your power input, so you can put your solar in there or your DC charger into there. And it has the same plug on the power lead, the AC power lead. And it comes with adapter, it's not just one lead. And in here is your battery, which slides out. There's a handle on it, you can pull it out. And there's indicators on there to say how much power's in it. And you've got a couple of USBs on there, so you can charge your phone from it. And then in here, that's also will take a separate battery. This only comes with one battery, so I've been putting the leads in there. So that's the cigarette socket lead. You can just about get both the leads in the power pack. I have one of these fridges in the front of my camper van, and if I was going to change anything in this van, this would be one of the key things, because there's not much room in it, and as soon as you open the door like that, all the cold air comes out the bottom and falls out, and all the hot air goes in at the top. So it's not very efficient, but it's good for having milk in or a few cans of beer and a bit of food in there. But having that freezer in the back is far more efficient and a lot more room. So you'd probably be transposing stuff out of that fridge freezer, the cool box, into this as and when you needed them. It does have a little freezer at the top there, but it's tiny. You can hardly get anything in it. I have a 12-volt cigarette lighter socket there, and I've had this running in here overnight, and this hasn't got warm at all. That's where it plugs in. It's the same plug as the mains adapter. Come with those plastic trough things. It doesn't move. I've had it just sat in here, and it's quite rigid on those feet. Doesn't slide about, or it hasn't so far, and I've been up and down some hills to get here. It holds its temperature well once it's down to temperature, and with it being in the garage of my camper van, I can't hear it running when it's powering up. And in the bottom there's a little drain plug there, so if it gets full of ice and you want to drain it out, you can just drain it out the bottom, which is nice. And the difference between the fridge in the camper van and this one is the cold air will stay in the bottom of this. It won't fall out, so they're a lot more efficient. And if you leave the lid open long enough, an alarm will go off. So you can either have this as a fridge, cool box, or a freezer. And the other sizes have separations in them. So you can get a bigger one, and you can have half freezer and half fridge in the other ones. And that's the device that it runs off. So if you leave it open for too long, the alarm will go off. I don't have a lot of food in there, but there's certainly plenty of room to get stuff in there. I think I would predominantly use this as a freezer though. If I go on a long trip, this would be a freezer for my camper van. If I was using it at home, it would be a cool box come freezer for beers and things in the garden when we have barbecues. Really bright display, and on the app, I'll put some slides in now from the app. There's quite a few features on there, but just if you've got this in there like I'm going to have it, I can just check on my phone to see what the temperature is and make sure everything's okay, and if I want to turn up or turn down the temperature, I can do that. So it's really good. It's got an app, it's a Bluetooth app, or you can link it through the internet, and if you link it through the internet you can do any software updates. When this was delivered, it requested a software update, which I've done. I quite like the plastic as well. It's strong, it's robust. When it's empty, it's not over heavy as well. I was surprised how light it was. Obviously, if you fill it full of 40 litres worth of stuff, it's going to be considerably heavier. But it's not too hard to move about. I don't know how good those wheels would be on the beach if you was to take them on sand, but on cobbly roads and gravel, as we've tried, it works fine. The other good thing about this is obviously you don't need the battery in to run it, so you can take the battery out if you want to make it lighter, or you can leave the actual unit in your camper van, take the battery out and charge it up without the unit. With it being easy to move and being on wheels, you can also take it into the house and fill it full of whatever you want to take with you, and then wheel it back out and put it in your car or your van. So I think that's a great piece of kit for my sort of setup in my camper van. I don't think I'd want one of the bigger ones. I think that one's the perfect size for me, and as I say, I'd probably use that predominantly in the camper van as a freezer, giving me the opportunity to keep stuff in that, and as I'm out and about, if I want to cook a meal or something, I'll have stuff in there ready to use, and I can just transpose things from the house freezer into there and back again if I don't use it. But it's good to have some food on board, because I like the opportunity if I get somewhere and I think, oh, this is nice, we'll stay here. But you don't always have all the food with you, because I've only got a small fridge, so that would certainly do the job for us. I do like the simplicity of having it running off a 12 volt socket, and it's surprising how little power it actually uses. I like the idea that it has a battery, and you can put a second battery in as well to extend the life of it when it's not plugged in. But I think the majority of the time when it's in my camper van, it'll just be running off the 12 volts. It'll top the battery up, keep the battery fully charged, and then just run off the 12 volts. It's got a bit of weight in it, and it's also got some products, but I wouldn't say it was heavy for what it is. When I lifted it out of the box, I was surprised how light it was. I'll put the weight of it down below now. But it certainly takes some knocks and kicks. Definitely well made. And it'll need to be bouncing in there with all the junk in my camper van. So there you have it, the ANKER EverFrost cooler, as they call it, or fridge freezer if you're from Yorkshire. That just leaves me to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Check the description, there'll be loads of information on there. I think these are on offer at the moment. I'm not completely sure of the price, but if you check the link, there'll be maybe a discount code, but they're certainly on offer at the moment. We're looking at the website. That may change, but instead of putting it into this video, just check the link in the description and it'll take you to all the specifications, and it'll also show you the other two sizes as well, because there's 3 of these in the range.